Oh, yeah. We do have that handsome devil on tonight, don't we? I'm so excited.
So the only thing left to say, of course, is the one obvious thing.
Hey, everybody. It's not Leo. He's stuck behind the keyboard, so I'm filling in. My name is Drew. We got a great show for you. We got a great guest, wonderful news. Really excited. And, I'm Drew, and really glad to be here. So let's see what's up with our friend Steve Van Sampson. Hey, Steve.
Hey, my name is Steve Van Sampson, and I am filling in tonight for Drew Mallow, who's filling in tonight for Leo. So you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful. Wow, that was great.
Is that all we get from you, Steve?
That is the most energy all at once, perhaps. I'm a bit spent now.
All right.
I often forget I am in my 40s, so.
Well done. Well done.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what Carrie's up to. Carrie, hey.
Hey, everybody. First things first, we're going to get this out of the way real quick. It is Squirrel Appreciation Day. So I would like to let you know Grad Tosker is celebrating with his Crown Royale. And yes, it is. He is my alcoholic Norwegian mythological emotional support squirrel puppet. That takes a lot to say. But he is not the purpose of tonight's show. Tonight, guys, our guest, he started back in 1982 at the Joe Kubert School, went on during the 80s to be a production manager at a local ad agency, went back and finished Kubert School in 1990. In the early 90s, he was a freelance production artist and staff production artist and production manager at DC Comics. For the next decade after that, he was an inker primarily for DC, a little bit for Marvel. He went back to Kubert School in 1996 to 2000 to be an instructor. He has been a freelance production artist at McFarlane Toys. He's been a freelance production artist for Four Horsemen Studios. He was the first Fifth Horseman. He is a letterer and lettering supervisor from 2003 to 2006 in DC's in-house lettering department, the first hire for the department. From 2006 to 2024, he was a freelance letterer primarily for DC Wildstorm, Mad Magazine, also Dark Horse, Disney, Bongo, SpongeBob Comics, and many more. And from 2024, when we had him on last year, to the present and beyond, he's the co-owner and co-founder of Ghost Machine, Mr. Rob Leigh, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Carrie, Drew, Steve, thanks for inviting me back.
You're welcome.
We are thrilled to have you back. And sorry, I'm coughing. I can't get.
I mean, it was a lot of things to say.
Because he's done so many things.
So many things.
Yeah, that guy's 800 years old.
I didn't. No one said that. Haven't you heard? Like 800 is the new 4. So But thank you again, my man, for coming back. Really appreciate it. And again, like Carrie said, in between breathing, which Carrie, please, for the love of God, I thought you were gonna faint before you got to his third act. You've been busy. So
Yeah.
when we last saw you, Ghost Machine had just released their like mega sized issue 1, introducing everything, and now you guys are the cream of the crop, killing it. How's that been, right? 1 year later.
It's been amazing. It's surpassed our expectations for sure. We've been so very well received by the fans. Multiple issues have gone through multiple printings. I mean, I don't think we could have asked for anything better than what we've experienced. And most important, we all still like one another. So.
Oh wow,
that is important.
I'm not saying that any of you are people that are unpleasant, that it would be like, oh, I can't believe you're still talking to Geoff Johns, but it's like, damn, you guys have had a lot of pressure on you to get, and you've been pumping out so much, and it's all so goddamn good.
It really is. I don't think I've read any title that I was like, this is fine. I'm like, nope, this is amazing. Like every title has been literally, God, I wish I'd thought of that. That's just so genius. Like, it's just so good, man. I can't. Like, and again, like I was saying to somebody, I was like, I think you'd relate this. Like, well, what's this about? I was like, it's something for everybody. Like, literally, I was describing all of them. I was like, oh wow, and that's one. I was like, this is one company. One pumping out greatness.
Yeah, we're very proud of it. We're just thrilled with everything that we've done so far and how it's been received, and we even we fan over each other's work too. So it's been such an amazing experience, of more than I could have asked for.
And it's funny because like I've seen it at conventions. Like I think like a good amount of you guys were at New York Comic Con last year.
Yeah, we were all there.
Yeah, you were all there, and just like again, and then what I like is that some of you, or like a lot of you, are just the industry giants. Like you guys have so many credits to your name, and you're just there. And if someone was like, "Hey," they're like, "Hey," and then they could take a photo, you can get an autograph. Just it's not. It's like if the Justice League decided to dress like us and we're just chilling, like, "Hey, what's going on? You want to go to the Watchtower? Cool, let's go. You want to get burger?"
Cool.
It's
nice. It's nice to talk to them, and you have to understand that comic book famous isn't real famous. So when you have people who are interested in what you do, it's it's a nice feeling.
Yeah, of course.
Don't crush my dreams, Rob. Comic book famous is real famous. Trust me.
To us.
Yes.
That's right.
I have gone out of my mind over meeting you and some of the other people, and then Drew's like, for example, at Terrificon, these TV people and movie people are walking around behind, and he's just like, did you just see? I'm like, do I care? No, I'm here to see this, and this, and he's just like, but he's, and I'm like, don't care.
Impervious.
Bing,
bing.
It's also not hard for things to go over Carrie's head, is that we are significantly of a different. She's shorter than I am, so I can just literally. And she's like, if you do that one more time, you're going to lose the hand. I'm like, okay, fine, fair. She's just got a little bite. And in my defense, Tom Welling walked past our booth like 5 fucking times, and Leo, who is like the biggest Superman fan, missed it every time. I was like, yeah, at this point, I was like, it's not even funny anymore. Like, it's just tragic. And he wears glasses too. I'm like, my man, I can't get you stronger prescription. We would have to RoboCop you eyes. Like, God damn. It's like, oh wow, I missed it. I'm like,
well, if you were a true friend, you would have tackled Welling for him.
I don't have any kryptonite, Rob. I can't. There are rules, man. You can't tackle Superman.
Drew has a problem differentiating fact from fiction. He thinks kryptonite works on Tom Welling. He thinks Carrie Squirrel is real.
I have a real problem. I believe my own fiction. It's a real issue. Every way I'm just wake up, I'm like, well, this is where the story starts. I'm like, all right, we're gonna roll that dice. We'll see where this goes. Could be a tragedy, could be a comedy, could be a parallel dimension. Who knows?
Can I just real quick just squeeze
Please.
something in? I know we're going to do mostly Ghost Machine, but you mentioned McFarlane Toys and also Four Horsemen Studios. That is pretty cool. I'm a toy collector. I have a very good friend who is obsessed with Mythic Legions. Oh my god, just obsessed. Sends me pictures all the time of all the different ones he's got on pre-order and stuff like that. Shout out to Andy, if you're listening, bud.
Yeah, they do amazing work. I was over at the studio over the summer. I stopped by there.
Wow, very cool. So what do you do for the toy companies?
I don't anymore, but I used to.
Oh, okay.
One of my, when I was teaching at the Kubert School, one of my students, Eric Mays, Corn Boy, you may know him as, was working at McFarlane Toys, and I said, "Hey, can you just get me in there? I just like to see what the operation is like."
Yeah,
and
no kidding.
I wound up freelancing for them. I was doing like casting and molding, cleanups of the prototypes. And then when the four principals of the Four Horsemen broke away from McFarlane Toys and started their own studio, I migrated with them. So actually, here, this is a remnant of the old McFarlane days here.
Oh man, we're gonna get that. Oh boy.
You know, everybody should have a little Vern Troyer head in their studio.
Wow. Holy crap. So, man, I gotta get my collection game on. So cool. you know, speaking of, I mean, you know, again, like you just said, like the Four Horsemen split out of McFarlane Toys, did their own thing, kind of similar to how a lot of people in Ghost Machine, decided one day, hi, we did. How does that like organically happen? Is there like a conference over beer and bar food, and then suddenly, you know what, we should do, or like does that something just bubbles over time, or is that just a conversation and then it's like one of those you can't shake and it becomes a reality?
Yeah, it's a business of relationships. So most of us as freelancers are spread out all over the world, so it's seldom that we get a chance to meet one another face to face. There's people I've worked with for 20 years, and I've, if they moonwalked across my living room, I wouldn't recognize them. But you email and you are in touch through work, and over time, you find people that you gravitate towards, and that they gravitate towards you. Hopefully, if you're if you behave nicely, and that's how relationships are forged. And projects spring out of that, and Ghost Machine is a tremendous example of that. Geoff Johns, obviously, being the all roads lead to Geoff. So we all had relationships with professional relationships with Geoff and with each other in a lot of ways. But Geoff was the central figure of that, and he gathered his people to him, and then we ran with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he seems, so far, he seems to have chosen wisely, because we do play nice with one another.
In some ways, that's the most important thing.
For sure.
I mean, my God.
Yeah. Gary, go.
Jessica Kerr's just like, say hi, Rob.
Hey, Jess.
But yeah, I love what you've become so quickly. How this is going to be kind of odd. I think we kind of discussed this last time, but now that we've had a full year for it, how long in advance were you guys preparing the first issues and getting things ready so that when you hit year one, you could just release everything as it's going?
Yeah, well, the whole germ of Ghost Machine started, I guess, 3-4 years ago. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while. But then when we really decided, we started with Mad Ghost with Geoff's imprint there, and we kind of tested the waters with that. And that's when we did the Junkyard Joe miniseries, and it was well received. And we realized that it was proof of concept, and that this is something that looks like it's going to have some legs. So once we decided to go through with it, I guess we were better part of a year in advance. We were putting all these pieces together, starting starting with the stories, the looks, and then all the pieces fell into place.
Very cool.
Very cool.
We're Drew and I are, Steve. We're just gonna fan out Rob, like just like, oh my god, like we talk to each other. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Did you see that? Did you see it? Did you see it? Okay, let's go to
Not
this
me.
part.
I'm sleeping at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. I don't
Well,
want to
you
be
know
locked
what?
into that.
Well, a lot of you fucking does. Some of us wake up early. Or in Carrie's case,
We're
some of
not
us
going to
don't
sleep.
Yeah, no, we're like, I very much am enjoying everything. Like, I remember when I heard of Ghost Machine, I was like, what's Geiger? And then I read up, I was like, oh my God. And then y'all just kept it going, and then all these new things. And like, this is a weird question, but do you have a favorite? I feel like it's like one of those things, like asking a dad who his favorite kid is. It's like he doesn't want to say, but he might have one. Do you have a favorite Ghost Machine title right now?
You know, I've been asked this before, and the
I'm sorry.
answer is that's right. The answer is
Yeah,
the same. It's a logical question, and the answer is the same. And it is whatever issue I'm working on at a given time. That's my favorite book to work on. And then, you know, I'll finish an issue of Geiger, and I'll move on to Hyde Street. And I say, oh wow, this is my favorite book. And then, you know, I'll pick up Jay's Rook, and I said, no, this is my favorite book. Or, you know, Rockefellers, Redcoat, you know, H&H. It's just they all scratch different itches, and that's kind of surprises me. You know, you hope that you're gonna land with a few projects, but a lot of people really seem to like the whole line. And if they only like single projects, that's fine too. But I think there is something there for everybody. And I enjoy the hell out of all our projects. Also because I really like the people that I'm working with, and I see the work that they put into it. And and you want people you like to succeed.
Yeah.
Totally.
But we have a behind the scenes app where we're chatting with each other, and a lot of it's business, but a lot of it's just life stuff. And it's also, you know, Brian will say, this is a page that I'm working on today, and then we're all oohing and ahhing over it, and Yvonne will do the same. And you know, Frances, Jay just posted up a page today. It was amazing. So we're the same.
Because I know sometimes people put, you know, people they know in comics, whether it's friends or celebrities or whatnot. Have any of you ended up as background characters in each other's book? Like, are we going to be reading like Hyde Street, and we're going to see one of the victims is Rob Leigh? You know,
I without giving too much away, you might see this furry face someplace in one of the properties. So.
Oh boy! Okay, that's it. That's
a solid maybe.
That's a solid. You know what?
Take that check and cash it, Drew.
Absolutely. I'll take that ghost of a chance. You know,
it's the Easter egg for me to hunt for now, because last time I had you on, it was, God, I can't even remember which comic it was. There was a scattering of names all over the place.
Yeah,
and I was like trying to identify. And I'm like, okay, this one was this guy, and you're like, some of them are just people that I knew.
Like, some of them were old, you know, hunting buddies who have since passed, family members.
Yeah.
You know, people, you know, from the from comics.
Right.
And some were just names that I just made up. But yeah, that was in Pete's Blood Tree.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay. I'm like, I've read so many things. I don't try. So, question. Well, actually, I want to jump back real quick, because I want to do the lettering thing real quick.
Sure.
Well, not real quick, but
quick enough.
I'm obsessed with lettering. You are my favorite letterer. You are also Keith Champagne's favorite letterer, by the way.
I didn't know that.
We like,
hey,
yeah,
Keith.
we chat about you behind your back. So, you know,
Keith's good people.
Yes. Oh, he is. He's wonderful. Yeah. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up a couple of different examples of Rob's art, guys, of his lettering, through some of the new Ghost Machine things. The first one we're going to do here is It Happened on Hyde Street Devour. And the It Happened on Hyde Streets are, like, Hyde Street is its own series, and then these are just individual one shots that are picked from people on Hyde Street, correct?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and
Okay.
that label on the canister is work that I did.
Nice.
And then Brad, I believe, integrated that into the art. So I did the design of it and wrapped it, and then Brad worked his wizardry.
Okay. And then did you design the logos for everything?
No, that was our amazing production guy, Steve Blackwell.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, here's a nice.
That's Steve's work there that you're seeing there.
Okay.
He's a tremendously talented. He's more than a production guy. He's a designer. He's an artist.
I gotta fix my. There, I gotta shake that just a little bit so I can get it all on. Okay, so what I like to look at is right in here.
Mhm.
You have all the different. You have different colors going on. You have different motion going on. See, I geek out over this, guys, but all the different things. This is really snazzy here. Just choosing the pretty colors with all the food because it makes it a really appetizing 80s sort of feel that you have going. And
yeah. So I'm sorry.
oh no, yeah, I was just gonna say, can you?
Yeah, I was
fill
gonna
us
say
in
like on
choices?
that title on the 1983 page. So now I came of age in the late 70s and in the early 80s. In 1983, I was out there having a good time, and I was kind of riffing off of. There's an artist named Patrick Nagel. You may be familiar with. If you're not, check out his work. And also like the Duran Duran album covers, and Patrick actually did one or two of the Duran Duran album art. So I was kind of playing off of that, right? Yep.
Wow.
And then as it goes through here, you said you did, and here are some other characters from Hyde Street, guys, that you will see if you read the series. And you did the fat-free thing. Did you do all the little bakeries and
no? Layla
did
she did the smaller signage. I did the fat-free on the storefront, and then she did the rest.
Nice.
And sometimes I prefer when the artist does background signage themselves, because it seems oftentimes it sits better with the artwork. It doesn't look like it's dropped on. It kind of depends on the artist.
I know that there are some artists who are all about it, and some who are just like, nope, not gonna touch it.
Some of them don't like doing it, or they realize their limitations, and so it's a push and pull with this business.
Actually, Carrie, when you're done, I actually had a question as well.
Oh, I was just gonna say, a lot of the books. There are some books I've seen in the Ghost Machine series that have so much dialogue that you've got word balloons everywhere, and it's covering up stuff. But I really like how this page layout is, as far as like, okay, there's plenty of room for these guys to have this somewhat long conversation, without it getting in the way at all. But yes, Drew, go ahead.
Well, the question I had, Rob, is, and I don't know if we covered this last time, but I mean, you've showed a wide range of sound effects. Is there a grandfather of comic book sound effects, like someone who just was kind of the comic book Foley artist who laid down the way? Or is it just you guys just kind of came up with it and you're like, yeah, that sounds good? Or, are you there like actually drinking the soda, hearing or the chips sound? You know what
sometimes, I mean, there's been times that I've had conversations, phone conversations with my writer, and we sound like two mental patients trying to figure out, what does this sound like, and we're just babbling to one another.
Is that a ksh or a
yeah, exactly, yeah, and the sound informs the lettering. If it's a glug glug glug, I'm going with rounded letters. If it's something something shattering, I'm going with more angular letter forms.
Right.
Yeah, clunk, dropping the keys there, kind of a rounded letter thing.
Yeah.
Very sharp red, showing that something is happening there. I love this. I think this is all really, and then the very silent,
Yeah, that was more of
trying to hide the noise.
like a comic strippy type of effect there. I had a teacher when I was going to the Kubert school, and she was a teacher that many of us didn't appreciate at the time because she was not a comic book person whatsoever. She was a designer, and she would have us illustrate concepts with letter forms, and it was such a departure from what we wanted to do that many of us really didn't appreciate at the time. But it was a valuable exercise. Her name was Judy Mates. I think Judy's probably still around. And it's funny, the things that you don't think are something that you're interested in or something that's going to help you, they show up later in life if you open yourself up to them.
I've wondered, as Drew is saying too, who decided it's Buddha, 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 and Krakoom? Because those are the ones that always crack me up.
Who owns the intellectual rights to Krakoom?
Well, those K sounds. They say the K sound is great for comedy, and it's great for impact. Those hard letter sounds.
It's calf instead of cough.
Yeah.
Krakoom and
there's
Buddha,
differences
Buddha.
depending. If you have
kills me.
a writer from the UK, their sound effects, they hear them differently in their heads.
Oh,
we have very American. What you see from me is often a very Americanized version of what we think sound effects, what a sound sounds like.
Was there ever? Did you ever have a project where you? I guess, like you said, did you get your sounds international? Did you filter them that way, or try to mimic that? Or are you like, nope, we're bringing this from America. We're here.
Do you have a transatlantic version?
I don't
of the
I don't think
onomatopoeia,
so, but I have changed. There's been times where I've worked with a writer, say from the UK, and they'll say something in the script, and I said, that's an American wouldn't say that, so
right.
I'll put a little margin note there. Those little nuances between American English and English. Brian Hitch right now is laughing at me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Turncoat, so good.
He's saying there's no such thing as American English, I'm sure.
I'm sure. But no, I mean, I will say that that's definitely one of my favorites, being a history buff. Just the idea of just, I think what was it? It was him and Albert Einstein, buddy copying magic style in his. I was like, I can't. Like, every time this just. Oh God! Again, every issue, you guys are just world building so well, and it just. I have to say, personally, I just feel like it feels to me like when I used to read older comics, and it just there's no rush to get there. Everything moves, and it's taking the time and whatnot. And again, I'm not trying to discredit modern comics. Modern comics have their own ebb and flow, but there's something very old-fashioned about the way you guys are doing it. And it's just, again, like I said, I thoroughly enjoy any time I say, oh, new Ghost Machine's out. Well, who is it? Like, all right, cool. We're going back to Hyde Street.
Yeah, well, we're playing a long game, so we're not.
Yeah.
There's sometimes you think in 6-issue arcs, but we're thinking years down the road. So I think we have a different approach than maybe what you're used to seeing.
So, as far as it goes, okay, obviously Hyde Street and It Happened on Hyde Street are tied in the same world. We've seen now, I believe, that Geiger, Red Crow. You
Red
say
Coat.
Turncoat. I was thinking Rook in my head at the same time. But Geiger, Redcoat, and Junkyard Joe are in the same universe.
Yes.
And all right, and then are there? Rook is on its own right now.
Rook's its own thing. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and then Hornsby and Halo and the Rockefellers, they're each their own thing as well.
Yeah. Well, they're part of the Family Odysseys.
Okay.
Line, the division or whatever you'd like to call it.
Right.
But not necessarily existing in each other's world.
Okay, cool.
But maybe they are.
Suggested for some audiences, kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a kind of a kinship in that they are family books about families,
Oh, 100%.
not necessarily children's stories, but stories about families, where that's the central point.
Absolutely. And I will say this in terms of Rockefellers, I love that issue 2 was a Christmas issue.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
as a fan, I've always loved, which is funny because I always noticed it more when I was younger that DC did a lot of Christmas stories. Then I realized Marvel was also doing. I just
Yep.
didn't see them for some reason. So just issue 2 was a Christmas. It was so cute and weird and wonderful. I was like, good. It's Christmas, everybody. Good, weird, wonderful, and full of science. Yeah, there's the magic
And
for
full
you.
of science.
Drew is a future mall
Just like
Santa, by the
PBS.
way.
Okay, you know what? Just because somebody owns a suit that was handed down from his grandfather, who was a mall Santa,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
passed it down the line, doesn't mean that one day I'm going to have a beard, probably not as nice as Rob's, but something akin, and I might want to bring joy to the 4 kids who still believe
Do
in
you
Santa.
think, Drew, that someday you'll have a child and your child will someday be hosting a podcast and be having this exact same conversation only about dead poo?
If so, it's gonna be really trippy for me, and I 100% am just gonna be like, oh, I feel a chill. What? Oh, my kid's talking about me again. And I'm like, and it's not in therapy too, so I feel even weirder. So I don't know. Maybe, but either way, we got Rob here, and his beard is so much better. Like goals. Flipping it back to our guest.
Just wondering.
All right. And
Go,
flipping
Carrie.
it back to lettering, I'm gonna go this time we're gonna look at I was gonna wear my Rook shirt. I have a Ghost Machine shirt and a Hyde Street shirt and a Rook shirt, and I'm saving up for more shirts.
Yeah, collect them all.
I'm working on it. I'm doing my best. I currently own more Steve Van Samson shirts than I do Ghost Machine shirts,
Holy
but
crap.
we're working.
Well,
blushing.
we'll have
have-
to
I-
rectify
I
that.
can wear a Steve Van Samson shirt every day of the week at this point and be changing every day.
Stop.
But
Stop.
I
And yet, Ghost
Drew and I
Machine.
fanning. Yes, but Ghost Machine is slowly making its way into replacing my wardrobe as I can afford it. So
That's the way it should be.
Well,
you know.
no, it's okay. Listen, Ghost Machine's hearing this and it's saying to Rob Lee, hold this bourbon. So, hold this bourbon. Tell me twice.
Yeah. Right. Well, the
Big
Rook shirt
T.
was beautiful. I'm all about crows. And speaking of Rook and crows,
Mhm.
and I didn't wear the Rook shirt because it's hard to, it doesn't say it until on the bottom, and you can't really tell that it's a Ghost Machine shirt. But I want to talk about the lettering here in Rook itself
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this is badass. Okay, so
cool.
yeah, we're gonna back a page. Oh, here's everybody talking, doing their thing. There's a little bit of a, and then he's got his own the motion of this roar, and the way it's going through, and then there's the blam blam. You didn't Buddha, you blam blammed.
Blam blam.
So
Blam, blam.
I
Buddha
can
Buddha's a
detect
machine
like
gun.
yeah.
That's true.
This is just a vocal roar. This is a guttural one, and then we're getting the vocalizations going with the coloring that you have going on that. It's so gorgeous. And guys, it gets even better. There's the crows, well, the rooks, the corvids have their own as well. We get these claws and the high, like, taken away, the same color as their eyes here. The caw is on a crow, it's so rough, or a rook, or a corvid. They're all just so, high throaty instead of the deep. I'm like pointing, and you guys are like, "What is she doing?" But these deep roars of the bears and the like cold caws of the crows. And I'm skipping pages because I don't want to ruin things for people here. But there was one more. The round oinks and roinks of the
so cool.
of the boars. Yeah.
So can I just ask? So all these onomatopoeias that Carrie so loves, These are all hand drawn, right?
Some of them are, a lot of them are, especially those roars. Those are digital brushes that I've created, and then I draw the letters and stretch and squash them.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, because you can tell, like,
Yeah,
no
everything
2 Rs
except
are
for the
same.
blams, everything on that page are hand drawn sound effects.
Oh, I did not know. So is that something, Rob, that you do specifically, or is that kind of like a letterer's like tool belt?
Some do, some don't. I like
Definitely not all. This
Okay.
is next level stuff. This is like a gentleman's letterer, right?
But
Yeah.
I don't like to recycle sound effects like the same over and over again. I'll take letters and I'll stretch and squash them. But I don't like to recycle them, and I don't think anybody notices, but the reason I do it is because comic books are, they're expensive, and I'd rather take a little extra time to put some more value into it, even if the reader isn't aware of it. Because then I feel like I'm, rewarding them for buying our stuff. So I try to put a little extra in there when it's appropriate. And you see, like, a lot of those sound effects, I don't even care if they get trimmed off the page. I want you more. Some sound effects I think are meant to be sensed rather than actually read letter by letter.
Actually, I was just looking at that. You have the first panel and the second panel. You have the raw and you have the thum, and those are both contained to that panel, which I think is really smart, because it would be easy, I think, for somebody to just have it break the panel, and that's fine. But where you have, 6 images, 6 panels so close together, it really helps you kind of realize this is this moment, that's that moment. And I actually really like that you kind of cut them off. And also the top panel on the second page there, the other is that a B? Is that a broth? Broth?
It's a Roth.
It's a Roth. That's also really cool, and I love that you you put the crows in front of it. That's because like, we still see it. You don't need to read it clearly. It's not a conversation. It's like, we get it. It's really cool.
And
really cool.
and both the crows have importance there. I mean, that's who he's, or that's what he's the bear is fighting off. So to obscure them would be silly, because then it makes the sound effect prominent. They both have their place. So that, to me, was a way of solving that issue.
And also, sorry, Steve.
I think sorry, just real quick.
No,
that right there is really like what makes somebody great to work with, because what you just said proves to me that you're not out to get spotlight. You're not like, oh, well, I'm gonna upstage anybody. Like, you're like, no, I understand the assignment. This is what this. It's like the bass player. The bass player's there to be the bass player, like, and needs to be there, but it's never going to be more prominent than the lead guitarist. And bass players get that, but sometimes a lead guitarist might not understand that versus the singer or something, or vice versa. And it leads to infighting and egos and all this stuff. But I think that's really, really cool. You're like, no, it's not more important than the crows, but but it's important. It's very important.
Well, story is king, right?
Yeah.
Everything has to be in service of the story. All your decisions are there to make the story a better experience for the reader.
Absolutely.
And you have the great little, every time these are reconnected, there's a slight story to explain what these are. Various people on this planet have connections to various animals, and so whenever they are this guy is Rook, obviously, and he is connecting to them. That's the machine speaking to him. But the click goes in him, and it goes into the crow. And then I love the roof. Even though he's running away and it's his body sound, you gave it not nearly as huge of a font as this, but you still gave it to him his own.
Yeah, I mean, the letterer can also control the volume, right? big letters,
Yeah.
big sounds, small letters, small sounds.
And
It's
and yeah, sorry, Karen.
oh, sorry. Nope. I was just gonna say it's wonderful.
Well, yeah, and also what I also noticed, and I think I maybe unconsciously was aware of it, but I just noticed it now is that also the way that you have it, it's almost like the sound effects, like you said, they're little arrows helping to move the scene. They move with the action. So not
For
only
sure.
is it highlighting, but it's kind of saying this is the wave, because someone will be like, oh, look at all these images. I'm like, yeah, but if you follow it, it's very cinematic in a way, like it moves, you move with it, and like Steve pointed out, it enhances the scene versus it's just flash. It's like the unnecessary explosion. It was like it's big, but did we need it? And this one, everything is good because it's all accentuating the scene. Even like you said with the plates, like the caws are flying around with the birds. The raws are primordial declarations of intent and size and war. And even at the end, we're just running away. It's like I'm defeated. So little sound effect, just to wag my tail.
Yeah.
It's just
That
a little
back up.
bear schlep. That
Yeah.
rough. Just a
Yeah.
little bit of bear schlepping.
Yeah, little
Yeah,
schlep.
this top picture, it wouldn't look. I mean, it would be a pretty panel, but the raw really adds to it.
It does.
As the
Yeah.
color,
Yeah.
it would be very brown and black, and you bring in the color with that, like
Yeah.
you said, for the volume control. That really, it's just little things. You are so good at your job, sir. I just
Well, I'm surrounded by good people. Unfortunately, for my situation is that I do get to see Brad's colors. So I usually I letter over the black and whites, and then once I get Brad's colors, then I can work with him to make them work in concert. So that's an advantage that we have.
Interesting. Okay.
okay.
Is that typical? Is that typically how letterers do it? You sort of lay the groundwork. And
it's ideal.
follows.
It's not always what happens because both the letter and the colorist are usually up against the deadline by that point. So sometimes you don't see it until it's in print. But we're in a different situation, so I can not only get Brad's colors, but sometimes I'll do a lettering effect, and then I'll hand it off to him, and then he integrates it into the art itself, as opposed to my lettering being overlaid on the colored page. So he and I work together in a way that I don't believe I've worked with other colorists in the past. It's much more collaborative.
So, and speaking of collaborative, again, we talked about how you guys have been hitting the con circuits pretty hard to promote everything last year. I have to ask, have you guys seen anybody cosplay any of the characters yet?
Yeah, and our when we were in Florida at MegaCon last year, we had our first red coat guy there. Yeah, we're starting to see. Yeah, we're starting to see it.
Well, I know Carrie's going to lose her mind if she's because I think someone did or is working. Carrie, someone was a Rook, right? Or
yes.
Yeah,
I
saw somebody in New York. Yeah, they've made the helmets. There's some dedicated fans and creative fans.
It's a great.
I'm just gonna be a crow. Like I'll just follow Rook around. At cons. My avatars are crows. All my stuff is crows. I hang out with a squirrel. I would eat him, but I'm obsessed with crows. So Rook is a big one for me. Last bit that I want to pull up here, and we're going to have a little bit more about the lettering too again. I love talking to you about this, and you are such a wealth of knowledge. Okay, we're going to go to some Geiger now real quick, and here are the couple of things that I want to pull up for people to check out in this. All right, we've got the multi-headed dog does have his own ers and things as we're going. Barney. And this is just a typical page, but then we jump over here and you can see, okay, we have motion. Everything you do, the increase in size, the way it follows the body, the way the coloring goes is just so beautiful. Slight difference in the way this guy's speaking. The shape of the word balloon pulls into stuff here. And that is very effective for what's going on, what people are feeling, how it's all going. What are the conscious decisions that you make with this as far as like all of the like, okay, I'm going to plan this out, and like
Well,
the
it's
shape of.
like you say, yeah. I'm following the action. Um, I'm I'm trying to put texture in there. I'm trying to make it almost tactile. To you're not. I don't think you have to be limited to just what the letters are and what they say. They can have texture. They can have color. They can have volume. You can appeal to most of the senses. You can even appeal to taste. With some real disgusting sound effects. I mean, it might not be a taste that you want, but it's one that that people have experienced. So yeah, try to why limit yourself?
Yeah, the way you spell it with the K gives it sets it off differently. In the double H, you have this scratch kind of
Yeah, it draws
feel
it
going
out. The
for
double
it.
H's at the end. Yeah, to draw it out. Yeah, it's that kind of fading. Almost like a ride cymbal if you're a drummer.
Nice.
And this is one of my favorite panels coming up here. This boom. Okay, so we have the transparency going,
Oh yeah.
but it's on the faded background. So the boom is totally brought to the forefront, and you can see it's a little bit lighter inside of there, and it's off the page because it's such a huge sound. But this whole panel is just brought together because of the boom. And that's one that I did you work that specifically with him for or with them for a bit to make sure that okay, we're going to have a panel where this is what's going to be the sound effect is going to be over top of, like, we can see everything going on behind it, but it's taken the lead on this one because it needs to be, because it's that big of a panel.
No,
Yeah.
there's a lot of trust. So, Jeff's script says, this panel, he's describing what's happening for Gary to draw it. And then for me, he said, there's a big boom there, and then it's up to me to arrange it the way that I see it marries well with Gary's art.
And then
And then I changed the colors after I got Brad's colors. I went in and I changed it because what I had originally fought with the imagery a little bit too much color wise. So I made the appropriate adjustments. And you have to remember that Geoff and Gary and Brad are all seeing my proofs when I turn them in. So if they say, all right, Rob, can you pull back a little bit on this, and I'm fine with that, or go further. So we have input with one another.
Very cool.
But mostly there's a lot of trust to do what you think is right.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that
then we
making it transparent in that one frame is really effective. It's really cool. And
Thank you.
from what we've seen tonight, you haven't done that again. So that to me means that's a special rare technique.
Yeah, I
you
do
employed
that
there.
sparingly. I mean, Pete, when I lettered for Tomasi, Pete has, he likes transparent sound effects, so you'll see me use them more in H&H and with the Rockefellers. Otherwise, I pick and choose my moments.
Yeah.
and this is the special Geiger
What?
green.
Yeah.
But this was the other panel I wanted to bring up from the Geiger, and I said I don't want to show off too much because people need to go out and get their own copies of all this because
Agreed.
it's amazing. But this was another. I just love the whoosh because it's instead of before, this one was kind of blurry. This one is very liney. It looks like something I would see in an old time book, with like somebody struggling on to get to the front, and you have the lines going through it, and just you can feel how the wind is with the whoosh.
Yeah, well, again,
going.
that's a product of me. When I initially lettered it, there wasn't texture in it. It was the letter forms were pretty much as you see them there. I still wanted to get the idea of the motion, but once I got Brad's colors and I saw the way that he rendered the sand flying, I'm like, oh, I can integrate that into the sound effect and add that texture, so you kind of feel like that he's being pelted with sand and debris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just great. I'm just everything you do, it's just great.
Thank you.
I love all the things.
Yeah, you're my new PR person.
Oh
Okay.
boy. Oh no, Rob,
Don't
Rob,
joke.
don't open that door. Don't open that door, man. She will Van Damme that thing right now. She'll be like,
Oh.
what?
Okay,
Like,
so Kat, got some talking to do now.
but yeah, Carrie, I like I said, I think my thoughts are still forming, and I know you've got like a billion things you can ask.
Well,
But yeah.
people have seen this before. We asked you last time, but for people who haven't known too much about lettering before, could you give us a brief rundown of what it was like back with the hand lettering and the couple of different, like, you don't need to go into too much depth, but I mean, a lot of people just do digital these days, and some people, it blew one of our co-hosts' minds that lettering was ever hand done, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, a lot of people did that.
Yeah, I mean that was a true skill. I learned to do that when I was at the Kubert School. I did a little bit of that when I was on staff at DC, back when I was in production. We did a lot of lettering correction, so I used to have to ape other different letterers' styles. So that was a good education for me as well. But yeah, people used to draw it on. You would get the pencil page, then the letterer would ink they'd rule the panel borders and do all the word balloons and sound effects, and then it would be handed off to the inker.
Were you ever on stage crew? You have that stage crew handyman kind of vibe to you. Like, literally, I don't need to be on the stage. I am fine with just making sure the show looks great, everything is in place. Like, you've got that like, you know what? I'm just glad to be part of this.
I was never in the theater program, but I'm handy. And but yeah, I don't. I'm cool with what I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, if I don't have to be center stage. I'm good with blending in. Sometimes, I'll step forward.
Of course. Did Ghost Machine have the hat ready for when you were ready? They were like, "We got you. We got a hat for you. Ghost Machine logo, everything. Put it on. Get to work." Like,
well, if I take this off, there's too much glare on top of this bald head of mine, so it would distract your viewers.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. I got some glare right now myself, so we're good. So.
It's a very nice sturdy cap. You can wear it outside. You can go hunting and fishing in it.
Yeah, I wear the heck out of it.
It's gonna last you. Go get their merch. It's really good.
Stop it.
Oh, what? The PR person now.
PR person?
Damn it.
Oh,
GhostMachinePro.com.
Excuse me.
So,
did anybody have questions about any more of the lettering stuff right now? Anybody? Audience? People? You can ask questions too.
So, I actually have another thing, because I used to do this like a couple years ago when I was really heavy in the concert, going and getting autographs and whatnot. Is I was always very adamant about getting everybody to sign a book if I could. Like, if I found like there was a letterer or inker or whatnot, and I apologetically was that guy who would be like, "Oh yeah." Like, I remember, I think it was like Richard Eisenhower was at a convention, and I had like all these ultimate Spider-Mans that he had done with Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley and stuff, and he just like him. And I think the late great Justin Ponsor, I would just show up to New York Comic Con. I would just and they were like, I would try chatting. I always used to feel bad, but I was like, no, you guys are part of the team, and I want to show my appreciation. Thank you. Has anyone done that to you?
Asked me to sign things?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Brought you stacks. Like Drew brings us. Here's my suitcase.
Yeah, I mean, when we were in New York in October, I must have written my name down 1,000 times.
Oh shit! Nice. Well, because I like I said, I did used to never think anything of it, and then for some reason, I gained a complex about it, and I felt guilty. So I'm always so about like, I'm so sorry. It's just, I love your work so much, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry to keep producing more. Just, I'm sorry, but please keep signing.
I'm happy to sign anything as other than a check that somebody puts in front of me.
Fair enough.
You know, and
Duly
if they
noted.
don't want me to sign it, you know, if they want the other
Fair
guys
enough.
to sign it and not me, I'm good with that too. It's all good.
Well, if
Okay.
you're signing the back
You know,
of the check, though, that's
So,
Hey, you know, that's where they get you, Gary. All right. Now,
we used
I
to have
think
these
I'm
things on paper that you would write, and you would give money that way instead of just pushing buttons. It was called a
Were
check.
they called checks?
yeah, I send one to the
Okay.
U.S.
Yeah.
Treasury every four times a year.
There you go. And it's funny. I just imagine, like, Rob, if you're at a convention and we happen to all be there, I feel like Carrie would literally pay you for a custom-made sound effect, and she would just like,
Oh,
like, you know how
yes.
like people do commissions. She would be like, "Can I give you $300 and you just give me some custom cause that I'll just plaster everywhere?"
Instead
You
of butta, it's fudda. I don't know where you'd use that.
Cause all the crow things.
should make it a word
Flappa,
balloon and
flappa.
carry it with her.
How
You know,
how does that work? And this is the thing. Like, okay, I've seen people at the concert. They have multiple people work on something for them. So they'll be like, okay, I'm going to have this quadrant done by this person, this by this person, this by this person, and they let them know ahead of time. But it seems to me like, okay, the only time they're going to be able to meet all of these people at the same time so they can do the same work is at the con. But that has to be really annoying to be like, oh, I have to get this project done so I can give it to this guy, so I can give it to this guy, and even give it to this girl. And you know, do you ever do lettering for
I haven't.
like
No,
people's commissions?
no, my handwriting
Like,
in real life is
that
horrible.
would
So, and
I have a
I've got a
question.
little bit of a nerve damage, which is why I no longer ink, and that's when I went into lettering to begin with. So,
Oh,
so,
wow.
okay.
so I'd be numb just from doing that.
So I have a question that requires no actual inking. So Rob, since you're the onomatopoeia man, the sound effect man, I'm going to ask this question. Very subjective. Everybody has a different opinion on this. How would you spell the world's greatest monster sound of all time, as we all know, which is of course the Godzilla roar? This is a very contested topic, Rob, because some people like to start it with an S. You know, more of a screonk. I feel like it has to end in NG. I feel like it's a question he's like asking. What's your like if you had to go ink Godzilla's roar, like how are you spelling that?
I haven't seen a Godzilla movie since the 1970s, so I wouldn't even begin to know where to start with that. I'd have to sit there and listen to it like a psychopath and alone.
come in. Rob's just listening to that on repeat.
Just-
like, no, I'm working. Shh. You know. Like,
It just
no,
goes.
no,
It just doesn't sit well with me when somebody has him going like screonk. There's no K at the end. There's no S at the beginning. I'm sorry. It's more of a kyung, if anything. But I mean, what do I know? I'm not.
Yeah. Hashtag Steve Van Samson thoughts.
What do you guys
Okay.
think out there? Who's listening? How do you spell Godzilla roars? Go ahead, guys. Come on, let's hear some.
Wait, I missed some. Oh, we have some Hey Robs from Dylan Dietrich.
hey, Dylan. Dylan is
and
our Ghost Machine Kubert School scholarship recipient.
Nice.
Yes.
Congratulations, Dylan.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
That's
sir.
very
We
awesome.
expect great things from him.
Great things. What else,
You will
Carrie?
do it well.
I did
We'll
a
do
signing
it
with him
now.
a couple of weekends ago. He's a great kid.
Nice.
Oh, nice. What else, Carrie?
Okay, super thought. Okay, Steve, you're gonna be with me on this. We're gonna roll with
Okay.
this. All right.
Let's do it.
Oh,
So
I'm scared.
we both write things. We both
All right, let's go.
write stories. He actually illustrates because he's talented. I can kind of stick figure, but okay. Instead of getting illustrations done in the stories that I write, we're gonna go ahead and contract out like sound effects. When somebody
God.
a can, I'm gonna have Rob. So instead of having pictures at the front of my stories. I'm going to be like writing, and then there will be this like sound effect going on the page that like pops out at people instead of it just being like, oh, and they put it in boldface. It's going to be like, no, this is done by a letterer. This is done by somebody professional
And
who can
I'll have my
capture this
I'll have
feeling.
my attorney draw up the paperwork so I can get 25% off.
I think it would be super fun. Like instead of just having like a boldface thing, having like a real sound effect going through. And because I have some stories in particular that would really, really work in, because like the focus there's one story I wrote that's about PTSD based on somebody being an alcoholic by the sound of hearing cans open. So there's various size, like the various sounds of different cans for a soda can to a beer can to a malt liquor can, tall, small, what they are. They all have a different sound to them that it, Rob, I need to talk to you about this later.
Okay.
Later.
Oh God.
But what do you think?
Have your people contact my people.
That's how you do it.
Yep. True story.
I don't know. I think it's a good idea. It just occurred to me, and I'm like, because, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Let me. Yeah. Carrie,
Okay,
may I?
so I'm done.
So, Steve, do
I'll
you have
stop
anything
now.
I think Carrie hit the point where she's like, well, power down for a bit now.
Yeah, we have the Ghost Machine new release stuff that Kat sent to me that I wanted to go with and show through. But before we go to that, were there any other questions?
It's an underappreciated artwork, and it's very important. It's like I say, it's you're the bass player, but the bass player is so important. And I think that having a style as a letterer is so rare these days, to the point where it stands out. Your stuff really stands out. I think that's kind of hard to do, especially in this age of this is not the golden age of proving how awesome comic books can look anymore. And the stuff you guys are doing at Ghost Machine is absolutely like beyond top notch. This is not typical for what's on the shelves at all. Certainly not from Marvel. Certainly not from most of DC anyway. This is like really, really high quality stuff. And I haven't gotten to read any of it myself. I kind of got pulled into this tonight, but what
are you waiting for?
I'm loving everything. I mean, I'm just waiting for the freaking podcast to end, really, to be honest.
All right,
this
is really no, seriously, like, wow. I love everything we've seen tonight. Absolutely cool as hell.
And the best is yet to come.
Can't wait.
And some of our commenters, besides saying more of "Hey Rob," one of them said, and I quote, "Show us the cats, Rob."
The cats are downstairs. Yeah.
Okay. No cats today. Got it. No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Ocho and Smudge are elsewhere right now.
Okay.
The Ocho.
Okay.
So,
Carrie,
I'm gonna hop. I was gonna say, unless there's something else, I'm gonna hop in here and go through what we got from Kat, explaining or showing some of the up and coming Ghost Machine stuff. Cool. So, if you just want to let us know what all's going on here, this is gonna be Geiger issue 11. It looks like, and I don't know what you can share, what you're supposed to share. I just know that I got these to share.
Ooh.
Well, Tariq is meeting a new person from the in the unnamed.
Very cool.
We're introducing a new character, and I really think you're gonna enjoy this. Well, there we see her.
Oh,
yeah, she's right there.
Pretty.
Very nice.
Wow. Very cool.
God damn,
Okay.
Gary. Gorgeous. Look at it. Look at it. Clank.
Yep. And there's your Ronnie's roof. Okay, and then we move on now to some of these I have more and some of these I have less of, but damn, that's This is the family-friendly one, guys.
Yep.
Well, it's the
zombies.
family odyssey, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things,
No.
so Peter and I, well, both Peters and I have worked together for a long time, but the colorist on this is John Kalis, who was one of my classmates at the Kubert School.
Oh, wow.
John and I have worked together for many years. You should have him on sometime.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, well, if you can hook us up, we will definitely.
Will do.
Will do. Please
Okay.
do.
This is just the coloring is gorgeous.
Yeah, John did a great job on this. He really works well with Peter Snyberg's artwork.
I like the soft radiant light kind of thing going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And just to say, Rob, Peter's been on my list to meet for years. I'm a huge Starman fan, so I've been dying to meet him just to kind of complete my what the work he did on Starman. And
that was one of my favorites. Yeah, and he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I've been there in the wilds of Copenhagen. I love his stuff. He's like our old school cartoonist. I love his economy with it's all there, but his line economy is phenomenal.
And the expressions on his face are just so like it was just again like he's been like when I found out he was at New York Comic Con, I was like, God damn it, he was in my city. So next time I'm like next time. But no, yeah, go Carrie.
I realized I'm like, okay, let's look at these so that we can explain what's going on with Ghost Machine. But we didn't actually talk about the basic premise behind things. I mean,
with Hornsby and Halo, so the concept is that this is a war that started in the realms of heaven and hell, between the celestials from heaven and the infernals from hell. And as a way of a truce, they took a baby from each, and they placed them with adoptive earthbound families. Except they took the angelic child and put it with a family of questionable morals, and the opposite with the demon child went to a family that's very altruistic. So we're going to learn this is a battle of nature versus nurture. And then you also have the two factions coming from hell and from heaven to kind of put the finger on the scale one way or the other. So but these kids are just learning out. They weren't even aware of what their origin is, so they're learning about their own past, their own abilities.
And then I'm not going to draw everything back to Geiger, but Geiger is set in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want to give just it's hard to do a brief synopsis with that, but I mean, skipping the different factions and stuff, kind of just a
so Geiger takes place in a post-atomic age, post nuclear war, 25 years from our present day. That has just changed the face of the earth. He was a cancer patient, and the radiation affected him in a very strong way, giving him these powers. But he's also, we're exploring this world. He's not the whole world. The whole landscape has changed, and we're seeing these characters that are trying to put society together in their own way. Sometimes for their own ends rather than for the sake of everybody. So we're exploring this world with him, and with his knight errant, Nate, the former nuclear knight. with Barney the two-headed wolf, and now we've seen Zigzag the mutated zebra there.
Yep.
I love the zebra.
So, yeah.
It's so
I love
cute.
Barney
Yeah,
too, though, and his
It's
book obsession.
Yes.
For those of us bibliophiles, it's just like, oh yeah, if you're in a post-apocalyptic world, what can bring you more joy than books? And how hard are they to find?
And he's lost everything. You know, he's lost his family, so he's just kind of a man that's trying to reassemble himself. So we'll see where that leads. You know, he's fighting off the anger, and there's times where there's sadness. So we're on the ride with him.
Yeah, and then on top of it, you know, and then most recently, you guys crossed over. You showed Junkyard Joe in the same, you know, it's in Geiger's world. So like, oh wow, so you get that little mini crossover, and then there's been hints that others will too. So, like you said, that long game, everybody, stay tuned.
I'm waiting for more characters
Best is
to be
yet to
released
come.
on that, because they if you go to their site, guys, there's timelines that show when things happened and when different characters start, and you're gonna want in because it's so good. I straight up honest, I'm like a nuclear guy, and then I read it and was like, yeah, he's a nuclear guy. He's amazing. He's radioactive man, but you know what? I love him. So there. Next, we're going to move on. I got some covers for the upcoming issue of Hyde Street here, and
wow,
display Hyde Street proud. Do you want to explain a little bit about Hyde Street to people?
Oh God.
I guess to the most likely comparison is to like the Twilight Zone. There's different characters that are taking souls, and we see Pranky there. There's Mr. X-Ray. There's the Hollywood monster right there. This is our horror line. And it's just beautiful. Yvonne and Danny Mickey are just doing amazing work.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and Brad's coloring on top of it. Although, you know, Brad will kill me for this. I would love to see this in black and white at some point. It reminds me of the old. There's elements of the old DC horror stories. I don't know if you're old enough to remember the Warren magazines. The black and white magazines. Well, it's gorgeous.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I can think, this is the like Carrie loves all of them, but Hyde Street, God, that's her gem, being the horror woman she is. Hey, Jar.
And it's so cleverly written. It's a lot of fun.
Oh my God, you guys are just going in. Each issue is going into the origins of a different character. Like, oh God, Pranky. Oh God, what a kid.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's horror, but it's heartbreaking horror at some points in time. And then it's also very snarky. It just kind of all depends on which issue you're reading, but there are reasons these people are on Hyde Street, it seems.
Yeah, they're not there accidentally. And they're also these people that are the ones that are collecting the souls are from all different times in our history. They're not in Hyde Street, they're contemporaries, but they are from different eras. So we'll and there's a lot of them. We'll be learning about them as time goes on, as the years go on.
Oh, so Hyde Street is like a place out of time.
Basically.
Nexus.
Basically, you can be walking down the street, turn a corner, and you might end up on Hyde Street.
You may, and you may not have done something, catastrophically wrong, but wrong enough where you're being snatched up by one of them.
End up in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. All right. So next. Oh, yes.
No. I was just saying. What? No. What's next, honey?
Red Coat. We're gonna check out. Got some Johnny
Johnny
Appleseed looking stuff
Appleseed.
going on
This
here.
is a fun issue. It's a real lighthearted issue. It's we're coming off the heels of the first story arc with Albert Einstein, with young Albert Einstein.
Not just that, the last issue was heavy as hell.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, are you doing a crossover at Hyde Street? I mean, that was dark. But then I saw Johnny Appleseed. I was like, yeah, the guy I share a birthday with. Let's go.
Yeah, they hit all the emotions on here. You know, some really heavy stuff and some real lighthearted stuff. And Geoff and Hitch have so much fun coming up with these stories. When the two of them go off by themselves, you know, when we're all gathered together, they'll go find a quiet place and just amuse the heck out of each other, plotting new stories. What's going to happen to Simon Pure? You know, it's so much. They're having so much fun, and I'm having so much fun. There's been times over a 30 some odd year career where sometimes it's just a grind, and it's not like that. I mean, I see what's on my computer every day, and it's just fun. It's such a great experience.
I would love to have a link to your computer, and I swear I wouldn't share anything, but just to see all the fun things that you get to have coming across your screen.
And if you go back to that cover, where Simon was hanging upside down, right there, that was drawn by another classmate of mine from the Kubert School, Steve Lieber, who I'm sure you're familiar with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, we somehow, for our little class, I think there were about 16 of us in my graduating class, and we had a few that probably about at least 10 made it up to the into the comic book world for at least a cup of coffee. But there's a number of us that are still working in the business.
That's amazing.
So this is going to be a wraparound, right? Oh, wait,
yeah, Brian always does wraparound covers. Yeah.
Are those angry gorillas down there that I noticed?
Well, let's just say a primate.
Okay. I've been thinking about Keith Champagne lately, man. He's all about any sort of simian. So I was just like, there we go. Keith Champagne moment. Jeez. So then we're gonna move on now to what she sent me. And dude, Drew, you were gonna so dig this. I don't know if you got a chance to look at everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, let's go.
This is like the Rockefellers is the sweetest. Okay, zombie space woman. It's like, but this is like a really family oriented, like everybody's involved in doing stuff. What can you let me know about what we got going on with the Rockefellers?
So the premise of the Rockefellers is that they are a family from the 25th century.
Mm-hmm.
And they are targets because of something that Mr. Rockefeller is aware of. They are targeted. So it's a spin on witness protection. So rather than place them in a different city, in a different state, they've been jettisoned to a different time. And it's about them. It's kind of like a two-pronged situation. It's them adapting to their being in this primitive environment, you know, in our present, but also they're still being sought after by these people who don't wish very nice things for them. So we weave in and out between lighthearted family type stuff and, you know, real danger for this family.
Yeah, it looks rather scary coming up here. Like they're going to maybe have a difficult day. I have not seen this character yet in my reading, and I'm excited because it seems to be explaining a whole lot of things here that yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this one.
Well, and this is the wonderful thing about, for us anyway, is that, this is the first year that we're doing this. So it's a great time to get in on the ground floor. There's not 30, 40, 70 years of history that you have to catch up on. You can pick up a few back issues and come along with the ride, on the ride with us.
Absolutely.
You can be early adopters.
Yeah. And then we didn't get anything. I didn't get anything for Rook going forward, but could you explain that world a little bit as well?
So Rook
you're the expert. I just am a fan. So.
Rook takes place on a terraformed planet. What happened was that Earth was dying, and so this corporation created this artificial world, and brought the survivors from Earth to it. Among those people are the wardens. These are people who have the ability to control different species who have mutated because of this new planet that they're on. And these wardens work for the corporation. However, this world is dying also, and most of the people on the world have left, leaving a lot of these wardens behind. So it's about them, their potential exodus. That's why the title isn't just Rook; it's Rook Exodus, and it's Rook being our lead character, our lead warden. So again, we're learning about what their past is and what their future is going to be. And Jay Fabok is just creating. He's a wonderful world builder. I'd say he's our Hal Foster for you old timers who are familiar with the old Prince Valiant comic strip. He just builds this grandeur in his art that's really something to behold.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, the different species, or is it species, or the different animals that are out there? The turtles, or is it turtles or tortoise? But yeah, the Kalania, whatever they are. But everything that he's put in, everything has a purpose, and they're all like, you're like, oh, what good's a turtle? Oh, okay. They're giant for one thing. They can move things around.
Right,
they might be slow, but they're
on this
vicious,
world.
and it's just so the relationships between people too.
That I keep leaving the writers out. So we have the one and only Geoff Johns is co-writing Redcoat, Geiger / Junkyard Joe, Rook, and High Street, and my old running buddy Peter Tomasi writes the Rockefellers and Hornsby and Halo. But when I say, but our artists are also storytellers as well. So they all work together, in plotting these things. But a lot of it comes from the brilliant minds of Geoff and Pete.
Absolutely. And you guys you grab the best of the best. You're like the best letterer that there is at this point in time. And I'm not the only one who says this. Yes, I'm fangirling, but I'm also speaking what has been said by a number of people. Like, you are an amazing, you're grabbing some of the best storytellers, the best artists, the best colors, and putting together, as Steve was saying, he hasn't even gotten a chance to read it, and just seeing what you guys produce is amazing. And in such a short period of time, as a smaller company, when it seems like people are fighting over AI and all this stuff these days, and the big two are having a lot of weird things going on. Like, not that they're bad. I'm not like trying to diss on them at all, but they
have to do well.
Okay, we're going to reset this thing. We're going to reset this universe. We're doing all these.
I still have a lot of friends working for those companies.
Yeah, and they're doing some great stuff too. But you guys, like on your own, just coming out, are putting out some of the best stuff that is available these days. Like you guys in Distillery, I'd put up as the two top going non-big two that exist right now.
Well, we get to chart our own destiny. We're not beholden to a multi-layered corporation. So what you're seeing is passion and action. We have the passion, and we also are the captains of our own ship. So when you're allowed to do that, good things happen.
Agreed. Absolutely. Well, Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us again. It's been absolutely fantastic. Just sharing in the stories and the success and just, all your work. So kind of wrapping that up. So what's the best, like, one, are you going to any conventions this year? And two, in terms of social media, is there an ideal way or place that people can interact with you and check out what you're working on?
As far as conventions, we may have, I'm not sure about this yet. So I don't know if we're going to have a presence in San Diego. Maybe we will. I don't know. I've never been to that show. So I don't know. New York is our, we'll always be in New York. That's also a chance for us all to get together. So we usually do a few days of summit prior to the convention itself. As far as getting in touch with me, the best way is on Instagram. Rob Leigh Comics, one word.
Okay,
and that's
cool.
in the show notes, up, down, wherever you are.
Okay.
And yeah, we're going to be like, excuse me, Mitch, you need to get some Ghost Machine presents at Terrificon this year because we need some things signed. And,
Yeah, we got it, Karen.
Yeah, maybe.
But the best way to
kept you
check
for an
out
hour and a-
appearances is on our Instagram. So you also look at Ghost Machine Pro on Instagram too.
Okay, definitely will.
Shall do. And thank you. I'm sorry I kept you for like half an hour over time. I just had to squirrel out, squee out, fangirl, squirrel, everything, all the things. Rob, I love
squirrel.
you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, yes.
That's great. It was great to be back.
We'll have you on sometime just to like talk about old stories and do
Sure,
stuff
yeah.
instead of like being like, Rob, educate us.
I'm here. You know how to get in touch with me. So.
Yeah, we
Yes,
definitely
I
do.
do.
It was good to meet you,
well-
Rob. And
You
your
too,
stuff
Steve.
looks absolutely amazing, and I'm definitely checking it out. I can't wait.
Awesome.
It's really like a lot of it's my sensibilities too. So I like the main thing it reminds me of. It takes me back to the late '90s when I was reading a lot of Top Cow, where you guys are kind of like this, image adjacent thing and doing your own thing, and it's really like art forward, story forward, just mind-blowing stuff that we hadn't seen in a long time, just with kind of like the main stuff that we're exposed to. I'm loving it. Ghost Machine, man. Ghost Machine, baby.
We'll do our best to entertain you.
All right. Well, thanks a
Well,
lot.
thank you so much again, Rob. You be well, and
You too,
hopefully we don't see you like in 2 years. We'll try to make this a thing. Hopefully we'll see you sooner than 1 year. All right, but
That
be
sounds
well,
good.
and thanks again, man.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
All right.
Rob.
See ya.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. It's time to push the button. I've got to find the thing.
Oh, am I supposed to push the button?
I push.
I'm not pushing.
No.
Yeah, you push.
Is Rob pushing the button?
Rob is pushing the
Rob,
button.
yes.
Who's pushing the button?
Yeah, he pushes the
See
red
ya.
button.
Good night.
and then
Yeah.
We
if
need
you push
Leo. Leo.
Rob, if you push the leave studio button down at the bottom, that's the
I
one that
did.
will send you then.
You guys got to end the stream.
And now I hit leave and open uploads page.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That'll work.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. So
Carrie, I just want to let you know, I'm going to remember this, that you had an extra half an hour to fangirl. Steve is my witness.
It's right there, you guys. You guys are almost getting it. It's She's a fan squirrel.
Right.
That's fan squirreling.
Squirrel. Okay, fan squirreling. Right. You know
Fan
what?
squirreling.
Okay.
It's right. You're so close.
It
was killing me.
It was right there in
Fan
front of me the whole
squirrel.
time. You didn't realize it. All right.
It's Squirrel Appreciation Day too.
Shh. Let's get to the news, Carrie. We
Okay,
got to get to news because I know you got some Kickstarters to also talk about. So, all right, cool. Let's do it.
okay, well, give me 1 second here, and we will be getting to that. I need to. I'm doing the Fleo thing, and so I've got to find all the different Fleo thingamabobs,
And doing
which
it one-handed
are
too.
yes, doing it one-handed with one monitor instead of multis. So, well, let's see if I can find this.
As long as it's not a Linux system,
Pushing buttons.
we know that.
I don't understand Linux. That's just silly. Okay, so first we got to do instead of just the newspaper.
Nicely played, Carrie.
Thank you. All right. So what we've got going on here is Amazing Spider-Man #1. Okay, so the amazing writer Joe Kelly with artists Pepe Larraz and John Romita Jr. are launching a new chapter in Amazing Spider-Man this April. To help kick it off, #1 will have some great variant covers, including Simone DeMeo's first ever Spidey cover. Make sure you get your requests in. On April 9th, they're being released. So what we have here, first cover that we're showing is the Simone DeMeo. This next one is Leigh Bermejo, and oh my God, is that just
stunning?
Yeah, it's just gorgeous. Next one we have is Ryan Stegman, and this one's kind of silly, a little whimsy going on there with the face on Rhino. We also have one by Gil Kane that is the Spotlight.
Yeah.
Going on. And then this glorious wraparound by Pepe Larraz.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Amazing.
So I'm keeping it short and sweet. Again, this is being released on April 9th. And there's some version variants. I couldn't find them, and I'm not going to take the time to put the same picture without words up again if I have to go digging around for half an hour. But yeah, so we're going to move on to the next one. Very short variant watch this week. We only have 2 different things. Star Wars. So to honor Women's History Month, Marvel Comics will be releasing 4 special variant covers showcasing the women in the Star Wars universe. First, we have Ahsoka Tano gracing the cover of Jedi Knights #1. This will be on March 5th. It is released with art done by Yasmin Putri. Next, on March 12th, we get Rey on Legacy of Vader issue 2, drawn by Betsy Cola. The last 2 will both be released on March 26th, with Chancellor Lena So adorning the High Republic Fear the Jedi #2, with the art by Emma Lupacino. And finally, of course, Princess Leia Organa, a very young version of her, on the Rise of Skywalker #2 from Jan Duursema. So yeah, that is all we have for Variant Watch this week.
Very nice. Thank you, Carrie.
You are welcome.
Thanks,
Drew.
Carrie.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Carrie, do the thing.
Okay,
Initiate the news.
I will in just 1 second, Drew, because I gotta get a thing to do. And what were we saying?
You were rhyming just there.
I think I was.
Okay, Drew, I gotta get a thing to do, Drew.
Drew, it's time for Drew's news.
I want to show you something new, Drew. Do you want?
You gotta know what we do.
Drew's news, assemble!
Seeing how long
Drew's news, exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains plot under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's news, your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun, it's a heroic cruise in the world of Drew's comic news.
Drew, you with bangs it kills me every time.
I know, thank you. All right, so time for some news. So here's some hot news for y'all. So DC announced that Dan Slott, who a lot of us know for his work on Marvel, Amazing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, She-Hulk, and Superior Spider-Man, is actually going to be making the leap this year from Marvel to DC to pen the new Spider-Man, Superman Unlimited comic book. So this is going to be set to release in May, joined by Raphael Albuquerque on this new ongoing series. This is part of DC's upcoming all-in Summer of Superman initiative. So again, this is Wednesday, May 21st, and we're going to see this new series launch with a 10-page prelude by Slott and Albuquerque in the DC All-In 2025 Free Comic Book Day Special Edition Issue 1, which will be released Saturday, May 3rd. So the synopsis, essentially kicking this off, is a massive extinction-level kryptonite asteroid showers Superman's greatest weakness all down upon the Earth, creating an arms race for the new, most valuable resource on the planet, Green K. So this is going to shift the balance of power and criminal empires in Metropolis all over the globe. You're going to see Superman's constant enemy Intergang is going to be under new leadership, and they're going to be on the rise, with all foot soldiers carrying at least one clip of Green K bullets. So there's just so much to be unpacked there. So we're going to look at new alliances, new tech, new tactics, if Superman's going to literally just not only survive, but also continue for truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. So, I mean, gosh, it's absolute craziness. And don't get me wrong, everybody, we're going to see, the Daily Planet is still there. It's already more merged with Morgan Edge's Galaxy Communications as a multimedia news platform. Lois Lane is still the editor-in-chief. Jimmy Olsen, Ron Troop, Kat Grant, Steve Lombard, they're all going to be part of it. And then, of course, interesting enough, there is going to be a new IT specialist from Gorilla City, King Solivar's goddaughter, Tina. You can see her in the back there. So there's going to be a lot to unpack here. And I got to say, what a get for DC. I mean, Dan Slott, having met the guy, what a sense of humor. So I can only imagine what he's going to bring to Superman come May this year. So
nice.
Yeah,
All
man.
right.
Next up. Yes, the more from the Star Wars. So, as we know, as Mel Brooks's character Yogurt said in Spaceballs, merchandising, where the real money is made. So, as you know, so many characters were created for the Star Wars universe since 1977. Some are created for stories outside of "quote unquote" the Skywalker saga, or declared legends, non-canon. But there's even more of a rarity is that there are characters who never had the chance to be introduced at all, whether comics, TV, toys. One of these is a villain whose name is Atha Prime, who's actually going to make his overall debut in the current Marvel Comics' Jedi Knight series. So right there, that's the character's name is Atha Prime. And this is the book that's set before the Phantom Menace. So we're going to see Qui-Gon, Jinn, Obi-Wan, Yoda, other fan favorites from the Star Wars prequel trilogies joining new heroes, facing new threats. So one of those threats is this character, Atha Prime, who is introduced having a grudge against Qui-Gon Jinn. So right now, Carrie is alternating between there are two covers that we saw and a design sheet. So what we're seeing there, Atha Prime was created during the concept art stage of Return to the Jedi. So he was meant to be a chief villain of a new Kenner toy run, which would have been called the Epic Continues line. So this continues the story after the original trilogy's conclusion. But the line was canceled, and this character was forgotten until it was rediscovered by Emmy Award-winning screenwriter and comic writer Mark Guggenheim, who I also had the pleasure of meeting at a terrific con, super great guy. So it was him, he who, having done so much for us, thank you again for the Arrowverse, sir, who crafted a backstory for the Atha Prime, reimagining him as a remote planet's tyrannical ruler who fights both the Jedi and the Republic.
Cool.
So,
I never knew about this guy. This is really cool.
Absolutely. So, so I mean, the whole appeal of this we get to see what the Jedi was doing like before the beloved Clone Wars and their eventual fall. So this is just, there's so much to explore here. Guggenheim just sounds like he is just having the time of his life. So check this out. This arrives in shops March 5th, everybody, this year, and it just sounds great. Can't wait.
I love the professionalism, the very sleekness and like drawn in aloofness of this outfit and all of the drawings. It's very proletariat. Like, is that
Yeah,
right? Is that the word I'm looking
absolutely.
for?
It's just,
also
it's very Rick
simple.
All, but
And a little bit
sinister.
sinister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's crazy sauce, man. But
All right.
yeah. What's up next?
The last one of the night.
Right. So short news cycle this time, but don't worry, there's probably more next week. So as we know, February is Black History Month, and DC, their annual Power anthology is returning with a one-shot. Yep, absolutely, Cliff. No contest on Ghost Machine, but crushing it. So the DC Power anthology is returning once again with a new one-shot, laying the seeds for a spin-off. So DC Power Rise of Power Company is going to be a 32-page special featuring four news stories. One which will be expanded on a separate release later that year. So the two-part Company Man is written by Brandon Thomas, illustrated by Charles Stewart III, Anthony Farrell Jr., and Ulysses Areola. So this is focusing on Josiah Power, who is a superhuman attorney and leader of what once was called the Power Company. They were a Heroes for Hire squad created by Kurt Busiek and Tom Grummett back in 2002. That same character, Mr. Power, will cameo in January 15th, Black Lightning issue 3, who's also being penned by Mr. Brandon Thomas. So this character, while mourning the loss of his nephew Daniel, who was killed in last summer's Absolute Power event by our friend Mark Wade and the always great Dan Mora, he decided that the answer is to reform Power Company is the only solution to the problem of growing anti-meta sentiment. And Jefferson Pierce, aka Black Lightning, is the key. So we're going to be seeing, like I said, 4 separate stories. So Zipporah Smith, Kelsey Ramsey, Francesco Salgado are delivering the Ring of Power, which sees Vixen and Bolt join forces to deal with a wave of anti-metahuman sentiment in hospitals where citizens are getting treated for emerging abilities. John Jennings with Kanan White, Atuga Ilhan, and Andrew Dalhouse are taking a story with Cyborg and Green Lantern Joe Mullen taking on Despero. Batman Jace Fox and Signal, aka Duke Thomas, team up with Vita Alaya, Ray Anthony Height, and Chris Sotomayor in the dynamic duo, which sees them, quote unquote, fight crime, drink ginger beer, and play spades on the mean streets of New York. And the last but not least, Kerry Randolph and Emilio Lopez's main cover for the special will be followed by variants from Aletha Martinez with Mark Morales and Andrew Dalhouse, Davi Go, and our previous guest last year, Valentine DeLandro. So this, all of what you're seeing here is a prelude to a one-shot launching in April, which is Power Company Recharge, which will see the return to DC of writer Brian E. Hill, who Kerry, we know, has been laying out some great stuff with Ultimate Black Panther, with art by Kerry Randolph and Aletha Martinez. It's basically exploring how the new Power Company lineup, which is Power, Black Lightning, Jace Fox Batman, Signal Vixen, are working to rebuild humanity's faith in heroes and fight against the rising tide of anti-metahuman hate, while also dealing with a serial killer hunting down people with powers. So the first story, Rise of Power Company, is going to be available January 29th. Power Company Recharged will follow that April 30th. And that's that.
All right.
Yes, that was quite a lot, Gary. I'm going to breathe now.
Okay. I'm glad you're able to breathe. I need a second here because now it is time for Carrie's crowdfunding corner.
Great.
All right. So let me show you real quick here. And I got one in this week, so I'm going to share this. and it is some Get It Gun popcorns. So I signed up for this Kickstarter. I got a packet. I need to make myself big. You can't push the button for me. I got the Workhorns, Fistful of Rainbows, and by the way, do sign up because the next one is getting ready to launch. So go look up Garrett Gunn on Kickstarter. We will put it up as soon as we hear, but there will be early bird specials. So in case it's not within the week, I've got this lovely issue. And yes, you're like, what is this? And it's like, oh, it's really angry, naughty, militarized unicorns.
Oh boy.
Yes. That's what you heard.
No, don't show us.
The,
Oh no.
these pages are so thick and glossy and
That's what she
just
said.
lovely. Yeah. Well, I did just now.
No, you did.
I'm putting this away. I picked up this as well as a catch yourself up little thing for where did the things? Where did the soda go? There it went. Oh no. But I picked that up along with the digital ketchup. And then for some of the stretch goals, we get a magnet. Oop, wrong way. Workhorn's magnet, as well as a UV sticker. And then he just threw in little extra sticker because I put everything upside down. Because he's a nice guy. So this is one of the reasons where I'm just like, yeah, guys, do Kickstarters because some of the bonuses you have to buy, some of the bonuses they just throw in for you, and they're great fun. And I think you'll enjoy them. I'm only going to show you guys one crowdfunding program tonight because it's kind of huge, but it's really pretty cool. I need to pull up the screen here again because I can't open more than one screen at a time. But I will get it here for you a second. I'm sorry. I know you're just like, seriously.
Didn't say anything.
Again. Okay, not now. Let's try it again. We talked to Mark for so long. He's just a Mark? Rob.
Gee, oh my God, Carrie.
I know.
They both start
Oh, I
with
was on myself
letters.
select. They do. They both start with letters. Okay, what I want to share with you guys tonight. This is over on BackerKit instead of Kickstarter. But what we have going here is the artist Steve Rude 2025 award-winning sketchbook. Steve Rude, if you don't know him, he's the co-creator of Nexus and The Moth. He has received the Russ Manning Outstanding Newcomer Award, Best Artist, including the Kirby Award, Eisner Award, Harvey Award, and Inkpot Award. He's written on Tales of Teen Titans, World's Finest, The Incredible Hulk vs. Superman, Children of the Atom, so many other things. What he's got going here is a crowdfunder that includes his notes and progressive works. So you can see each step in his process and the thoughts behind each step is what he does. Part of the way that this works on BackerKit for him is as the funding progresses, the length of time that the project is up for also extends, which extends some of the lengths of some of the extra rewards. You can get something that was an early bird reward, but you get it later because they keep spending it. People keep spending and extending it. So currently it's ending on January 30th, 2025, obviously, at 3 p.m. Central Time. But it might go on longer. And the pledge levels, all of them include an entrance to the Backers Lounge channel on his Discord. And the 5 different pledge levels are the digital download book for $20, the Alice softcover book signed for $40 or unsigned for $30, the nude covers softcover signed for $50, and the hardcover limited edition book, which that these all start at 160 pages, and as stretch goals get reached, they keep adding $8 or 8 pages on per stretch goal. There is a signature page sewn into this book. It is shrink wrapped. There are only 250 of them, 50 of which are reserved for their Patreon members, or for his Patreon members. And yeah, $10 off the shipping going on for that one. Some of the extras that you can get in this campaign are these 4 8.5 by 11 prints. They can be gotten for free by various means or purchased on the add-ons. The Thor is offered free as an early bird exclusive in the first 48 hours, but as it extends, as far as people have been funding it, that has kept going to where you can get that for free later and later and later. The Batman is free for all of his paid Patreon members who will also receive it signed for free. You can spend an additional $10 on any of these if you aren't in the signed category to get them signed by him. The Wonder Woman is free for all returning backers and folks who signed up for the launch party for his work. And the Alice here will be given out free to those who complete their post-campaign surveys between February 13th to 19th. And that one is the only one that is not available as an add-on. That is one you can only get if you are a nice person and fill out your pledge and fill out your survey and get everything done. Once again, you can get those upgraded to being autographed for an additional $10 as it goes through. Now, one of the add-ons on this that I think is really cool, and this just adds on to the cost and helps, it's not necessarily something for you, but you're being a nice person and it helps build the price so that there's more stretch goals and things that can be reached, is a comic book for troops. And for $20, they will donate one of the 2025 sketchbooks to a deployed troop with no shipping cost for you. Another thing they have going on, they have some mixed mystery boxes. The first is the $25 Comics and More. It contains 3 to 5 exclusive, rare, or Steve Rude discounted treasures. There will be at least one signed item in there. For $20, you can get a t-shirt. The shirts are available. It'll be a mystery t-shirt, obviously. They're available in small to 5XL. And if you fill out the survey late, you get it sent out as XL. Otherwise, you will fill out, like you normally would, what size you want with it. The mystery art box is really kind of cool. This is $150, and it gives you everything that is in the Comics and More, plus a cool piece of original art from Mr. Rude. Then we have book plates, and these are $5 a piece, or you can have them signed. For an extra $10. There's a Creature from the Black Lagoon and the Nude. And yes, we are an 18 over show, so we can show that. They are 4 by 6 inch book plate stickers that can be upgraded, signed, like I said, for an extra $10. And you can use them to put inside your books to say, like, look, he kind of signed it for me. I guess. There's also the Catch Me Up comic book bundles for $100. You can get all of the follow all of the past sketchbooks done, and for an extra $50, he will sign all of them. Some of them are limited copies, so they might run out, and you can order them separately as they go on sale, or run out, they will disappear from the add-ons on the campaign. By the way, the link for all of this is in the show notes up above or down below. The extra specials that he has going on that I didn't grab pictures of because they were too tiny and just kind of silly. But I am going to go back because I want to show off something for this, the Alice in Wonderland cover there. Okay, so the last 3 things that you can get on the add-ons are, for $100, you can get an original art remark. He will draw a small sketch in one of your books. It's his choice in size and his choice in size of medium, his choice of character, in the book only, no option for separate paper. There are only 10 of those available. For $750, you can get a one-of-a-kind Alice in Wonderland House of Cards pen and ink cover, the one used for this cover. It is approximately 11 by 14 on the Dark Horse comic board in pen and ink, limit 1 for that. And then this one, I keep wondering if I'm right or not. It's for $10,000. You can get the original Alice in Wonderland painted cover Step-by-steps as far as how it was done can be found on the Patreon. They will ship the entire order for free, thankfully, including international, except for duties there. It is a 15 by 20 inches transparent and opaque watercolor and colored pencil on illustration board, and there's a limit of 10 to those. So
Wow.
yeah, what they've gotten so far, they've funded the main funding. They've gotten 8 extra pages. They've extended the Thor print going on. If they can get the next one, this is kind of cool. There will be, and they're very close. They're in the $28,000 range right now. There will be another 8 pages, and then you can buy a $15 little sketchbook of your own with the Alice cover on it. And then what we have going on for the last is $40,000. You know, it's like all the 8 more pages. $40,000. There will be an extra 250 of the hardcovers that were limited that will be added to the thing. And then at $50, there will be a bonus sketchbook that he will put in, and you get voters. People on the show get to choose and vote which sketchbook it's going to be. It'll be approximately 62 pages. And that's something else that you'll be able to buy from the stretch goals. So that is my Kickstarter of the week. Well, not
Okay.
Kickstarter, crowdfunder of the week. I thought it was rather cool. I thought they had some really interesting ideas with the way they set up for the troops, adding to the books and things like that. But a lot of fun add-ons and things as well. So
Yeah.
Gary, are you forgetting? Didn't we talk about doing a promotional for something else that there's an anniversary of? Something infernal?
yes. Oh, yes, there is. I'm getting there, dear.
Oh, okay, sorry. Didn't mean
That's
to. Sorry, I interrupted your groove.
No, I just have to open up different windows for different things. So, yeah. And there are... Okay. Yeah, my problem is opening up all the different windows, sharing the screens. Don't cross the screens. Yeah, so actually what showed up today on my news feed is what I got last year, which is this book, Axel's Infernal by D.G. Chichester. And these are kind of crappy pictures taken by my phone of my comic that I own because I want him to do more of these. And in fact, the project is waiting to get people signed up and waiting to launch on Kickstarter. So go to Kickstarter. You can see some fabulous artwork and some just great, great storytelling with all the deep mythology and the really he hates it, but he does it. He does the intellectual writing of Dan Chichester. Go sign up. He is going to be coming on the show later this year to discuss his Kickstarter once it gets going, as well as the rest of his work. We're going to be doing some giveaways. It is going to be great. So please, please, please go sign up. I removed Drew from stage accidentally because I keep freezing up here. But yeah. Oh, and hooray for squirrels! Yeah,
Indeed.
so that's the last thing I want to say. I got some new stuff. I just got to rehash some new stuff, and I'm sending out some new stuff. And guys, please, when you can, and I know that not everybody can, share a Kickstarter or a crowdfunder of some sort. It helps people get their name out there. Share whatever sales are going on so you can help support your friends and your favorite artists and creators in doing what they're doing. But I will share what I think might be interesting to everyone. And I'm sorry, I will not share a lot of the not safe for work booby comics because those will make all their funding from the people that aren't me. So, yeah. But I keep a lookout. And if you guys have a crowdfunding project coming up, let me know. We will go ahead and get it on the plate to get you some support.
Yeah.
So we have had a great guest on tonight. I think we've had a really good show. Anybody else have anything to talk about, or should we do a wrap up?
I'm good. I'm tapped out. Steve, do you got anything?
I mean, I'm almost as tapped out as you, but not.
Oh boy, almost.
Not quite.
Almost there.
As tapped out. Yeah.
Speaking of new projects, I saw Derek announce something on his page that's.
Oh yeah, he
If
did.
I don't know if you want to talk about that or
You know,
not.
it's
It's a
crazy.
comic.
It is. I don't have it. I don't have it up. I want to get the name right. That's pretty fun because my partner in crime and comics and publishing, Derek Rook, he is primarily an artist and inker, but in fact, he did the lettering on this book, I See Monsters #1. It's put out by 2228 Studios, and it's looking pretty cool. They were just talking about it today, and yeah, he did all the lettering in this particular issue. So I don't know that much about it. I haven't gotten to really see much about it, but it's pretty cool. And obviously, wish those guys the best of luck. It is on Amazon right now.
Yeah, I ordered mine today.
So pretty cool.
So I'm excited.
So there's some indie comics for you right there, and the artist of that does have a story in our being Roughhouse Publishing's upcoming Gore Street Resurrectus Volume 3. So there's kind of a fun connection there too. So yeah, check it out. I See Monsters #1.
All right. And
Nice.
when can we? And yes, I did order it. Looks great. When can we be expecting more? I see that you've mentioned the Gore Street #3, or Gore Street Resurrectus #3 is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
When are we going to be able to pre-order on that?
I know it's going to be soon, but that has not been released yet.
No pressure. Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited about that.
Watch those skies. Watch the skies, folks.
I watch those Facebooks, but I will try to watch the skies now too. I'm on Blue Sky. I can watch that sky. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Let's do a wrap up then. I'm gonna remove myself. Hi, I'm Carrie. You can find me at Carrie Sanders on Facebook. If you see a crow, it is me. All of my things are there. That's all you really need to know about me. So yeah, moving over to Mr. Steve Van Samson. How do we get hold of you?
Hey guys. Hey, thanks for having me back again. I write stuff. If you want to go check out some of my horror books, they can be found on roughhousepublishing.com. Also, I have 2 books out on Weird House Press, the newest of which is the Unpleasant Mr. Sniff, which is my kids versus vampire story. And got some fun stuff coming out this year. Pretty excited for various things, not all of which can I talk about, but stuff is in the works. Also, Retro Redoctopus here on the Dorkening. That's my podcast, and we did just start our 7th season. Very, very cool. We dropped our 2nd episode of season 7 today, and that is a conversation, a point counterpoint conversation with myself and author filmmaker Jeff Carroll, who we both happened to see that Robert Eggers Nosferatu movie, and one of us loved it and one of us hated it. So we kept it really civil, though. It was weird. Like, it's weird how that can sometimes happen once in a while in the age of the internet. But if that sounds interesting to you, check it out. Not Rough House. Go to Rough House too. It's late, guys. There's too many R's. What's with all the R's, Steve? What the fuck? Retro Redoctopus. It's down there next to my name. It's if you can't spell it. Otherwise, find me on Facebook or Blue Sky or Instagram and say, hey, how's it going? And I'll be like, nothing. And we'll do that thing.
It'll give you devil horns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr.
Hey,
Drew.
Yes. When you're not wrapped up in a blanket, I'm doing stuff. I'm here. I'm working. You can find me on Facebook. I'm Drew Malo on Facebook, Ghostbuster 1984. I'm also on Blue Sky. We got a lot of great stuff. Yeah, we got a lot of great stuff, man, coming up. For instance, this weekend, we're planning on having our first international interview. We're going to have Spider-Man 2099 and constant Star Wars artist Will Sliney coming in to talk about some of his work. And then next week, this is super exciting, we're going to have current Conan the Barbarian scribe and overall all great writer Jim Zub will be coming by next week to talk about Conan, his previous work on the Cartoon Network Samurai Jack cartoon series, which was awesome, and so much more. So super fucking pumped. So, and if you need just reach out. I'll get back to you. I'll do my best.
He's good at that.
Yeah,
He'll do his best. No
I'll try.
promises.
No promises.
Eh.
But yeah, and everyone, thank you for joining us. Steve, thank you for joining in. Carrie, thank you for the words and the squirrels. And happy Tuesday. Stay warm, everybody.
Yeah. All
Be
right.
good, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.